I'm Cookie, and welcome back to another episode of the Untold Origins, the series where I talk about the backstories of one or multiple minor characters from my series Legends. Once again, I'll be talking about the Guardians, a group who are tasked with protecting an ancient weapon called the Beacon of Light. With the rest of these characters, I will only be talking about their backstory up to the point where all the enchanted animals and Night meet each other, as after that point, the backstory is the same, and I already covered it in Night's video, so make sure to watch that episode if you haven't. As for this episode, I'll be talking about the volcanine siblings, Amber and Firework. Born on Mount Serafina, which is a volcano, Amber and Firework were the children of the alpha pair of the volcanine pack, Cinder, the mother, and Asher, their father. Cinder, along with a few other females, carefully watched the pups, while Asher and the other members of the pack kept their watch on Mount Serafina. For generations, the belief that it is the volcanine's duty to watch over volcanoes to prevent them from causing large-scale damage has been passed from alpha to alpha, and Asher takes his job very seriously. He had tried teaching his pups the same ideals, but they were much more interested in the stories Cinder would tell them. Due to the danger that the species has on the forest, and how dangerous water is for them, volcanines, unless they were hunting, are forced to stay on the mountain, much to the disappointment of Amber and Firework. Luckily, they had their mother to keep them entertained. What's the forest like? Well, it's greener with flowers, and it spans for miles, and the species range from small to larger than us. I want to go there, and someday you will. Perhaps you go farther than I or your father have. All was well on the mountain, until one day a storm was approaching. The Vulcanites quickly headed for their dens, when Cinder and Asher noticed that Amber and Firework were nowhere to be found. Asher went to look around the peak, but Cinder figured out exactly where they went to. Amber and Firework, unaware about the storm, worked their way down the mountain, intending on exploring the forest. They made it to a part where the rocks were particularly unstable. As a result, they got to a point where they couldn't go further anymore. Cinder managed to get to them and started helping them out. She successfully got Firework to safety, but when she was carrying Amber, a rock suddenly slipped from under her. She frantically threw Amber up as she fell back, hitting her head hard on the rocks. The siblings panicked and made their way down to Cinder, no longer caring about getting hurt on the rocks. When they got to her, she was lying on her side, barely alive. She tried to get up, but was unable. The storm soon started, and in an effort to save her pups, she used her own body to cover them. Mommy, you're gonna be okay, right? I will be, now that you're safe. They stayed like this for hours, falling asleep. They woke up when they heard Asher yelling. When they came out, he was relieved to see them, but was still grieving about Cinder. Confused, Amber and Firework looked over at their unmoving mother. Amber frantically tried to wake her up, but to no avail. Eventually, they were taken back to the mountain's peak, where after some time, the pups told Asher what happened. Because he was afraid of losing them like Cinder, Asher forbade Amber and Firework from leaving the mountain again. This angered them, especially Amber, as Cinder promised them that they would see the forest. She wanted to do that more than ever, just for her. But Asher insisted that he was doing what's best for them. This event shaped a lot of Amber and Firework's upbringing. Amber struggled to accept Cinder's death, believing that she accidentally caused it. This caused her to become closed off from the rest of the pack, refusing to talk to anyone except her brother. Alongside that, her bitterness towards Asher kept growing. Despite him taking a more active role in her and Firework's life, it was him mostly teaching them how to care for Mount Serafina and know what to do if it were to ever erupt. As for actual bonding, that never happened. Because of this, Amber slowly started to avoid Asher, no longer even calling him Dad. Instead, used his name and called him Alpha. When they did talk, it would most of the time end in an argument. Firework came out differently, though. Cinder's death taught him how not all relationships last forever, and it is important to cherish them while you can. So, he spent his time socializing with others, talking about his feelings, and listening to theirs. This allowed him to accept his mother's death eventually. Despite this, he still spends most of his time with Amber, since she's basically the only family he has left, not including his basically absent father. His relationship with his sister is the one he cherishes the most, and wants to be with her while he can. He also wants to help her be more open. As for his relationship with Asher, while it is not as bad as Amber's, he is one of the few members of the pack that he actively avoids talking to. Eventually, the siblings grew to be adults and hoped to care for the volcano, but they were still the only members of the pack confined to the mountain. Please, Alpha, I want to see the forest at least once. No, I've already told you that will never happen. Hey, let's think about this for a sec. Now, how do you think the pack feels knowing that the future alpha has only known life up here and doesn't even know the basics of hunting? I don't care. You're safe. That's what matters. Finally, Amber had enough trying to convince Asher and decided to leave Mount Serafina for good. At first, she tried to leave by herself, but her brother quickly caught on to what she was doing and followed her. Ever since Mom died, I started feeling like I belong here. The forest is calling, and I feel I have a greater destiny ahead. Then I'm coming with you. Firework, you don't have to. I know you have other volcanines you care about, and they care about you. Please, don't throw away that for me. But you're my sister. I care about you more than anyone. And you're my only family. I belong with family. Besides, you know how I am. As soon as Dad asks me where you are, I'll spill the beans. That's true. Very well, let's go. The siblings headed off into the night and never looked back. The first few days were rough since neither of them knew how to hunt and had to be extremely careful not to burn the forest down. Over time, though, they got used to life there. They made a great team. Firework taught Amber to be more open with others, while Amber taught Firework when it was appropriate to stay quiet. They were constantly on the move, looking for a new place to call home. What that looked like, they didn't know. But they did know they wanted a balance that would satisfy both of their needs, mainly Firework's desire to be social and Amber being able to have her alone time. One day, they encountered a bunch of enchanted animals, as well as a house cat. This encounter would change their lives forever. And that's all I have for this video. Make sure to comment below what you thought of the backstory. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye!